These are the Adidas F50 Elite, and today's video is all about the 1 month review of these brand new speed boots from Adidas. Now, let's start straight off with the Soulplate, which if you guys have already seen the laceless 1 month review, you guys will know I really enjoy this particular speed boot and speed frame. This is of course the Sprint Frame 360, and it really does a nice job of a couple different things. Number one is, sure, you could argue Adidas should have gone more aggressive with this and then had the AG model like Nike does. But in my opinion, if you're going to just get one speed boot and you don't want to buy an FG and an AG, this one is perfectly fine. The stud length is actually quite a bit lower and a little bit shallower than some of the other speed boots on the market, which gives you a really good grip on AG and also plenty of grip on FG surfaces. I've actually worn this on our home pitch for 1-0 FC, who I was playing with this past year, a little bit on and off, and it performed perfectly well on our home pitch, which is like not the nicest firm ground pitch with some muddy areas and stuff. These were totally fine, didn't slip at all, as well as in some of the footage you'll see today of this morning's training session, which was on an AG pitch, and they performed really well in both categories. It's got a really good amount of snapback, it's still a little bit wet from the session this morning. Good amount of stiffness here through the midfoot, so I cannot really say anything wrong about this particular sole plate because it is that good. The only thing that I might change about it is, I don't know, maybe it could be a little bit wider for my foot shape, but like that's a subjective thing. That's not an objective thing. So for me, easily 8.5 out of 10. All right, the heel area of the F50 Elite. Now I did complain about this a little bit in the laceless model, but even with the laces, this heel area is just, the shape of it's not quite where it needs to be, I don't think. And this is something that I think a lot of brands have been doing recently, is they have been trying to make a heel area that looks really fast and really epic and really tech advanced. And it's like, you look at the boots that have the best heel areas: Mizuno, Asics, Athleta. And if you look at them, they're really simple. Like, I've got a pair of Mizunos on the table with me. These are probably the best football boots of the year, but look how simple that is. And that's going to fit most people perfectly. And there's really nothing to it other than a little bit of softness, some padding, some suede, and that's it. Whereas they tried to go extra fancy, all different sorts of shapes. And oh, by the way, if you, on the inside of here, about maybe an inch or two underneath the top, you can actually feel the external heel counter, and it's like kind of sticks out and is a little bit, it's kind of, let's see if you can hear that. Right? It's kind of hard on the inside. And so you want the heel area to be padded and nice and sort of wrapping your heel. This does kind of, but it slips a little bit, and it's just not, it's not quite the design I would love. And if you look at the heel area from, I don't know, even the Adidas X99, these ones, the 99-gram leather boots, that had suede in it, and it was really simple, and it worked perfectly well. I don't know why they didn't just do that heel area on this one. It would make this boot so much better in a lot of ways. This heel area gets a 6.5 out of 10. All right, so the upper of the F50 Elite is obviously fiber touch with the sprint web over the top of it. It does have quite a bit of texturing to it, which I really enjoy. So that's a personal thing. It is quite a thin upper, and it is something that I enjoy, but I don't love. It's like, I like it, it's good, it's fine, it's pingy, but I don't love it because it doesn't stretch at all. And so it's hard to break in, and it's a little stiff. And even when you're playing in it, like, because the upper doesn't stretch at all, there's those little weird, like, bubbly things on the ankle that still happen, even though obviously these boots are quite dirty and they're perfect, like they fit my feet without any issues. But they still, because the upper doesn't stretch and doesn't kind of sit flush to your ankle, you've got kind of weird bulbous areas on the outside. So I don't know. I think I've said this in another video. The Fiber Touch upper is an upper that I think Adidas probably put a lot of effort and time into, but I don't think is going to be around very much. And the reason I think it's not going to be around is because, number one, they change their goddamn speed boots all the time for no reason. And number two, The Messy edition with the hybrid touch is infinitely better than this boot. Like, period, end of story. Better in every single way. The upper is so much more comfortable, all that stuff. Fiber touch is good, it's responsive, but it's one of those things that it's sort of an acquired taste. I think nowadays a lot of people want more comfort and they're looking for, which is rightly so, you're looking for that kind of perfect cross between comfort, performance, comfort, lockdown, whatever you want to say. These are more on the lockdown side of things, which is good. It's really good, especially with the lacing system and the compression fit tunnel, all that. Fiber touch just, it's not quite it. And I don't think it's the best Adidas can do. I don't think it is. So for me, fiber touch upper gets a 7 out of 10. Lockdown for the F50 Elite is quite good. I don't think it's at the upper echelon of football boots, but if you have a foot shape that fits in here really well, it is really, really solid, particularly because the fiber touch doesn't stretch at all. And so with the addition of the compression fit tunnel, you do get locked onto that sole plate. And for all intents and purposes, despite it not feeling all that great, you get locked into the heel pretty quickly. And you can tell right away, like, oh, okay, I'm not going to move much in this boot. This is going to stick to my foot well, and it's going to be really responsive. And so realistically, it is, despite there not really being any lateral support system outside of the compression fit, which adds a little bit, but it's not that much because it is a stretchy material. It's pretty impressive that how good the lockdown is on the fiber touch. And so for me, this is going to get an 8 out of 10. Break-in time. Break-in time. These took me forever to break in because the compression fit tunnel system sits right in the area where my foot is the widest, on top of the fact that fiber touch doesn't stretch. This was one of the more difficult boots to, I almost made a video about this, just being a boot that I was not willing to break in. I got through it. I wore them for a bunch of sessions, wore them for a 1-0 game, all that stuff. So we're there, we're good. But it took me forever. Now, do I think that's going to be the case for most people? No, because not everybody is as wide-footed as I am. However, I do think you need to be cautious when you're looking for a football boot that you're going to have to break in a little bit. If you're going to compare this directly with Vapor 16 Elite, it is not even a competition. Vapor 16 Elite, boom, done, fit, perfect, right out of the box for pretty much anybody. These ones, not so much because they don't stretch. There's, yes, you get a little bit of adjustability with the lacing system and all that stuff, but break-in time, it's a 4 out of 10. Durability and build quality has been very, very good in these. And I said this in the laceless model 1-month review, not the plus model, but the regular laceless model 1-month review. The new F50 is very robust feeling. Unlike, debatably, the Predator, which does feel really robust, very good, this is like, feels bulletproof, basically. Like, this feels very good. Yes, it helps when you have a synthetic that doesn't stretch, so of course it's not gonna, there's not a lot of breaking points where it would, say, for instance, Hypervenom 1, I had, no joke, 6 pairs, maybe it was 7, we'll say 6 pairs. 6 pairs in 4 months, 6 pairs in 4 months break right here. And it was literally, it wasn't even the split of the upper from the sole plate. It was literally just the upper split. Like, it just went and split. This isn't going anywhere. The compression fit tunnel system is probably the only area that I would say it might rip on the inside if you're putting your foot in and out of it a bunch during the course of a day, preseason, 3-a-days or 2-a-days or whatever. But overall, the F50 Elite actually is quite robust feeling despite it being very lightweight. And so for me, the durability and build quality is an 8 out of 10. Shape and fit for the F50 Elite is pretty good. It's not my favorite. And I do appreciate that Adidas went a little bit more neutral. So as opposed to the Speed Portal, and that had quite a bulbous forefoot area with a really narrow midfoot area and a just disgusting heel. I don't know what they were doing there. But point being is these are one of those boots that is gonna fit most people, I would say. So I'll give Adidas credit for that. Is it my favorite shape and fit? No, not really. From, if I was to put a laced Predator and a laced F50 side by side from the Adidas brand, the Predator fits my foot and just feels a little bit better from a shape perspective regardless. This is not really in my top 10, maybe even top 20 as far as what actually fits my foot the best from a shape perspective, but I do appreciate that it is fairly neutral shaped and is going to fit most people. So from that standpoint, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. All right, so competition for the F50 Elite. Now we have the laceless model, we have the F50 Plus, we have the Vapor, we have the Puma Ultra 5 and Ultra 5 Carbon, Skechers Razor, the Furon from New Balance, we have the, what else? Velocita Matrix Pro from Umbro, did I say Scudetta? From Sokito, we have the Alpha from Mizuno, Morelia Neo 4, Neo 4 Beta, you could put in there as well. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. I think that's pretty much all the top end speed boots on the market. These ones are not in my top 5. So they're going to go probably middle bottom of the list above the laceless and the Plus model. I think I'm going to pick everything else above this. Part of that is because the speed boot market right now is just absolutely packed with the best boots that anyone's ever seen in the speed boot market. Like we're going to look back on 2023, 2024, potentially 2025 as one of the best eras for speed boots, period, just like 2014 was. These aren't even close to the top, in my opinion. So if you're looking for a speed boot from Adidas, go with the messy model that has hybrid touch. Because if you want a super, super responsive speed boot, you go with the Alpha, because the Alpha just fits better than this, period. And it's more aggressive, better tech, all that stuff. From an upper that doesn't stretch. If you're looking for an upper that does stretch, you go either Morelia Neo 4, or you go with Furon, or you go with Vapor. So, or Scudetta. These aren't that good. These aren't that good. Good ratings in some categories, but not that good. So, bottom of the list. All right, so performance of the F50 Elite is actually quite good. Despite me complaining about a couple different things, from an objective performance perspective, if you fit really well in these, or you fit perfectly in these are going to be really, really good from a performance perspective because they've got really good lockdown. They've got a pretty tight fit. The upper doesn't stretch at all. And so as you continue to break them in and kind of mold the upper, so there's a difference between, I just want to cover this really quick. There's a difference between stretching to your foot and molding to the shape of your foot. Stretching to your foot is buying a shoe that might feel kind of tight at the beginning, like a leather football boot. I'm trying to think of what I have here. So we'll go back to this Mizuno. You buy a boot like this, you get the sizing so that it fits perfectly and it's a little tight straight out of the box, and it stretches to fit your foot. You get a boot like this that doesn't have an upper that stretches, and you have to get maybe a little bit of extra room on the end because this is going to mold to your foot. So the upper kind of does one of these numbers as opposed to an upper that actually like physically gets larger volume. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm trying to figure out a more articulate way to say that. I think you understand what I'm saying though. Because these mold to your foot, they're going to fit less people, but the people they do fit are going to be really, really enjoying these because of the performance characteristics of these, minus really the heel area in my opinion. So for me, performance of the F50 Elite gets an 8 out of 10. All right, overall for the F50 Elite, I want to like these. I do think there's aspects of these that I do really appreciate. The Soulplate is one of my favorite on the market. Adidas has absolutely nailed it out of the park with all of their Soulplates recently, in my opinion. Maybe they're not the most aggressive on the market, but they fit so well. They perform really well. They've got good snapback, and that's across their line. Even the Copa Pure, which I don't really like that much, I really like that Soulplate. So from a performance perspective, from a kind of build quality, durability perspective, very good. There's a lot of things, again, that I really like about this, but I can't rate it that highly because as good as this could be, or as good as this is, it doesn't really stack up to what else is on the market right now. So for me, the overall score of the F50 Elite gets a 7.5 out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed that video of the F50 Elite. If you guys did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you guys aren't already signed up to the free newsletter that I put out every week, it's now a video newsletter. So you basically get an extra YouTube video a week, but it's a totally raw, uncut session of me in the studio talking about all the boots that I'm going to be doing that particular week. The cool thing is that you guys get to see all the boots probably sometimes even months before they actually get onto the channel, particularly because I'm so far ahead with content right now because I'm producing so much that I might say, hey guys, this week I'm reviewing the F50 Elite, and then you don't see that review for 2 months and you're like, what the heck, I saw that 2 months ago. That's called behind the scenes content. Go sign up on my website. Link will be down in the description box below. It's free, so you can just sign up, throw your email in there. I'll send you an email every week, and there it is. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys. That's the 1 month review of the F50 Elite. As always, be awesome. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.